He upset because I give information, but this is his deal with UFC. I don't deal with UFC. This is his problem. But we have deal with them. He's gonna fight in Madison Square Garden, and they say yes.
Islam Makhachev is preparing for his fight with Della Maddalena, but this time, things are different. Khabib Nurmagomedov revealed that Islam's training camp is located in a secret location, sparking questions about the reason behind this move and its significance. After weeks of silence, Islam Makhachev has finally given fans an update on his next move. With his welterweight debut against Della Maddalena now set, the Dagestani champion is shifting focus to full preparation. This announcement comes after Khabib Nurmagomedov recently confirmed the fight location and teased a different approach for camp, leaving fans curious about what changes are coming for this crucial matchup. Meanwhile, the speculation is finally over. Fans have been waiting for official confirmation, and now it has come from none other than Khabib Nurmagomedov himself. In a recent update, Khabib revealed that Islam Makhachev's next challenge is confirmed. The lightweight champion will move up to welterweight to face Della Maddalena, and the showdown is locked in for one of the most iconic venues in combat sports history.
I think here in New York. But they promised us. Be quiet, please.
I think the manager.
He upset because I give information, but this is his deal with UFC. I don't deal with UFC. This is his problem. But we have deal with them. He's gonna fight in Madison Square Garden, and they say yes.
Furthermore, Islam also spoke about the person who had the biggest influence on his career, Khabib Nurmagomedov. He shared how Khabib guided him through training, discipline, and what it takes to succeed at the highest level. Before discussing the upcoming fight, Islam reflected on their years together in the gym and why he still sees Khabib as the toughest challenge he has ever faced in sparring.
This guy who showed me, all roads, how I have to training, how I have to live, what I have to do, and this guy more professional, This guy have very big experience in this sport. That's why even right now when he retired, he in very good shape, but he now it's become big, but he's still in good shape. We complete many times. We did like more than 1,000 rounds in the gym. It's my hardest opponent, Always we have crazy.
Moving on, Khabib recently shared his thoughts on Islam's upcoming opponent, Della Maddalena. When comparing Maddalena to other top fighters like Ilia Topuria or Charles Oliveira, Khabib explained why he sees JDM as a bigger challenge. His analysis highlights Maddalena's size, strength, and skill set, making this fight particularly demanding for Islam as he moves into a heavier weight class.
Считаю, что Maddalena самый сложный соперник в Ислама карьере. Мое мнение. Ни Чарльз, никто. Ни один из этих бойцов.
И даже не Илья, если бы это бой был бы.
Мое личное мнение, во-первых, Maddalena 2 раза больше, чем Илья.
Сопоставим.
Илья. Он 2 раза больше. Он выше, больше, ноги помощные, корпус, бокс не хуже. И грэпплинг он возится очень хорошо, если вы смотрели. Для меня, если я например, буду готовить Ислама против Илья или Maddalena, для меня больше будет волновать и волнует Maddalena.
Furthermore, Islam's coach, Javier Mendez, recently addressed rumors about Islam avoiding certain fights. He emphasized that Islam is focused on legacy and challenging the best. While the idea of a potential matchup with top contenders excites fans, Javier reminded everyone that the immediate challenge remains Della Maddalena.
Welterweight was already in his mind before even Topuria was even in the picture. So this is not something that Islam was trying to, avoid. No, he wanted the legacy fight. What would you want? I mean, like what Topuria did was fantastic too. He wanted the legacy fight. I applaud both of them. I think they're both unbelievable fighters, and and I think at some point maybe the UFC will match them together. But let's be honest. We have to get by JDM too, and that's not going to be. Khabib and I have our work cut out for us, and other coaches. This is not an easy task. This is a very dangerous individual, and we better come at it correctly. Otherwise, we're going to come out looking. What next? There is no next. You got to climb back the ladder again.
Yeah, and we'll talk about.
Building on that, Javier spoke about Islam Makhachev's remarkable discipline, especially around weight management. He shared how Islam approaches weight cuts with experience and professionalism. Although Javier isn't involved in every moment of the process, he emphasized that Islam has never struggled to make weight. This consistency is important as Islam now prepares for a challenging move up to welterweight, which changes many physical demands.
The weight cut was something that he's an expert at it. I've been with him all these camps. I'm not in the weight camp all the time. I'm a little in and out because that's not my thing. But he's never really 100% like, oh my God, I can't make the weight. And this. No, he's never done that. So he's always been a professional. He's always made the weight. But as far as going up in weight to welterweight, it's like, hey, it's like the legacy fight for that. So he could have stayed at 155 and continued doing that if he wanted, but the opportunity came up. How can you pass that up?
Yeah.
He couldn't pass that up. If Bilal Muhammad was still there, no, there's no question he's not doing it.
Continuing, Javier addressed Islam's plans at welterweight and who controls those decisions. While there's uncertainty whether Islam will stay at 170 pounds permanently, Javier explained the abundance of opportunities in this division compared to lightweight. Importantly, he stressed that Islam is fully in charge of his career path, with support from coaches and managers, but the final say is Islam's alone.
If Bilal Muhammad was still there, no, there's no question he's not doing it.
Yeah, so you think 170 is permanent now for moving forward?
I can't say that because I haven't spoke to Islam about that, whether he's going to want to stay at 170. I really don't know. There's a lot of opportunities at 170, and at let's face it, at lightweight, there's only a couple.
Yeah.
But at welterweight, there's a lot more.
Yeah.
So Islam is the driver. I'm just the mechanic. And maybe I'm the guy that fixes the tires of this one, but Islam's the driver. Islam decides where he wants to go, and not the manager, not Khabib. Islam is the boss.
Adding on, Israel Adesanya and Alex Volkanovski shared their views on Jack Della Maddalena's skills and toughness. Drawing from sparring experience and gym observations, they highlighted Jack's exceptional scrambling ability. They warned Islam might find himself in deeper water than expected once Jack applies pressure, especially with his size and strength inside the cage, posing a real challenge.
About that,
I think Della is going to get it done. I feel from talking to Tim and also seeing Della, and also I've only sparred Della once, like not really hard crazy, but and I didn't try and take him down at all, but I've seen him at your gym sparring, and his scrambles are crazy.
Yeah, he's
even
good
watching him
scrambles.
with Bilal as well, and Gilbert Burns. His scrambles are crazy, and I feel Islam would feel like he bit off more than he could chew once he gets in there with him, because when he puts them things on him, he's like, oh shit, I'm not standing with this guy, I have to take him down. And then he tries, gets him down, and he gets back up, or he couldn't get him down, because he's a big dude. People don't realize how big Della is as well, and he's solid. So I really
Dense, man, just dense.
Dense.
Israel and Alex continued by emphasizing Jack's physical advantages and fighting mindset. Jack's size and power give him an edge, along with his confidence to fight his fight rather than just worry about takedowns. This style, combined with his striking power, could disrupt Islam's usual strategy, making this a demanding test for the rising welterweight contender.
Dense, man, just dense.
Dense, yeah. Like when I felt, like I said, we're sparring, and then it's just the weight behind it and the way he throws it, the body banging, man. But I know
What I love about Jack Della and what he did with Bilal is he will, you get people that are worried about the takedown, so like, and then they don't fight their fight on the feet. I'm gonna fight my fight and worry about the takedown when it's there.
Exactly.
And that's perfect. You need to be like that. For me, like with Islam, was like, I'm going to do my thing. Yeah, I'll be worried about it, but at the same time, find the shots to go in, boom, boom, boom. But I'll worry about the takedown when they're there. But I'll still commit to things. Later on, once you realize
you can handle it, then you would just, I can handle it.
And the confidence Jack Della is going to have now from getting through that, even though he's going to be confident. And then there's
Finally, Israel and Alex touched on upcoming training plans and the strong community bond among fighters from Australia and New Zealand. They spoke about joint training possibilities to help Jack improve further and how the success of one fighter lifts the whole group. Their pride in Jack's growth reflects the unity and competitive spirit within the Anzac fight scene.
Another one, when you're successful with guys that are very dominant there, when you have the success there, then all of a sudden you're like, okay, now you end up even that much better at takedown, and then he's going to do a lot. We're actually going to get a bit of training in and that as well. Like obviously he's going to do.
Over there.
Hey?
You going over there?
He'll probably come over here, or maybe we'll get a. Oh, we'll see. I might even go over there, whatever they want. I'm happy to do whatever.
I'm just so happy, man. I'm so proud of him because then it's like Anzac United. Whenever one of us does it, the whole game, and I feel like I don't know. This part of the world needs to understand what we're doing.
Furthermore, former UFC champion Luke Rockhold shared his perspective on the upcoming clash between Islam Makhachev and Della Maddalena. Having trained with Islam in the past, Rockhold knows the Dagestani champion's strengths well. He acknowledged the challenge ahead, pointing out the contrast in their skill sets and the size factor, making this one of the most intriguing matchups in the welterweight division.
That's a tough fight. That's a very tough fight. It's going to be interesting. You know, I think those are my three favorite fighters in the UFC right now. We go Islam, Topuria, and JDM. JDM's he's fun to watch. So, I mean, that's going to be a great fight. You know, he's no slouch at wrestling, but you have a guy that's wrestled his whole life and grappled his whole life versus JDM, who's kind of like, he's secondary on that, but, you know, you never know. He's a bigger guy. So, you know, we'll see how Islam, how he bulks up and how he looks. He looks a lot bigger than what I remember. I used to train with him forever. So, I mean, he's definitely grown. You know, we'll see how he carries the weight.
On the other side, the Barnhill brothers discussed the high stakes for Islam Makhachev moving up to welterweight. They questioned what would happen if Islam lost to Della Maddalena. Would he return to lightweight and demand another title shot, or stay at 170 and compete with names like Ian Gary? They believe the situation could significantly impact his future in the UFC.
I'm not convinced that we see Islam Makhachev ever fight again if he loses to Della Maddalena. Do you expect Islam to go back down to 155 and ask for a title shot?
No, it's a great question.
Or do you think he's just going to jump in line with Ian Gary and Joaquin Buckley and the rest of the boys at 170? I don't really see that, right?
Boy, I hope Kamaru Usman didn't hear you just say that.
I know, right? Now,
Joaquin Buckley's taken a hot back seat.
Yeah, he has. He's fallen out of the top. Islam had a ton of power up until recently. Now he is not a belt holder. He's not a champion. He's not pound for pound #1. Ilia is all of that. So Ilia has a lot of power over Islam right now. And if Islam loses a fight at 170...
The Barnhill brothers continued by explaining why a loss at welterweight could be devastating for Islam's standing in the UFC. Without the belt, Islam would lose leverage against Ilia Topuria, who currently holds all the power as champion. If Islam returns after a defeat, Dana White might not grant him an immediate shot, especially if Ilia decides to play mind games about a future matchup.
He comes back with his tail tucked and he's asking for a title shot. Ilia could be like, nah, I got other things to do, and who knows what Dana would want to do at that point. I'm not 100% convinced they would want to just make that after Islam comes off a loss, because that's a little bit of a diminished fighter, right? We want to see this fight happen when both guys are still just constantly winning on this insane streak. The interesting caveat, and where I feel like Ilia could try to play some mental games with Islam, is if Islam does go up to 170 and loses, I think Ilia's gonna go, yeah, you want to come have your little belt back? I'm gonna go to 170. I'll fight the guy you couldn't.
Moving on, Chael Sonnen shared his thoughts on Islam Makhachev's significance in the UFC landscape. He explained that Islam is not just another champion, but a symbol of something much bigger. Chael highlighted the weight of expectations placed on him and why his role in the sport goes beyond individual accomplishments, tying into Khabib's vision for the division.
Consider that. This sport is very different without Islam. It really is. Islam represents, it's a massive umbrella. Not to mention, he is the heir apparent to King Khabib's throne. Like, it's a big deal. He's achieved what Khabib wanted him to achieve.
Chael then explained how this commitment shaped Islam's entire career. He said being under Khabib's guidance made Islam prioritize the team's goals over personal interests. With Khabib's retirement, Islam successfully carried the torch, dominating the division as planned. Now, Sonnen notes, Islam steps into a new phase, no longer just Khabib's protege, but fully on his path.
As an athlete, you would rather serve that master than your own interests. As an athlete, that master's interests becomes your interests. Khabib, when he walked away, wanted Islam to hold down that division. And he did. He succeeded. Islam is now out on his own. He's gonna branch out to something different. I mean, don't forget, It's an uncomfortable conversation that none of us like to have, but everybody's had to have it all the way down to Coach Javier Mendez, which is, who's better, Islam or Khabib? We get asked it all the time.
In the middle of all the heated debates about size, wrestling, and striking dynamics, one of the most respected minds in grappling, Craig Jones, offered a brutally honest take on this matchup. Known for his deep technical breakdowns and his experience preparing elite fighters like Alexander Volkanovski, Craig didn't hold back when asked about how he sees this fight playing out.
How do you think the fight against Islam goes?
I think it's a super difficult fight. Obviously, he's faced Volk twice. So the first one, very. Now he's facing a guy that's best scrambling ability, period, in all. That's what Bilal struggled with. So I think the size difference is going to be quite a lot than people think. And we've seen how Volk did on the ground, how much Islam struggled with him. Jack beats Islam, puts Islam in a difficult position. Does he now go back down to fight Ilia after he loses?
Furthermore, Max Holloway has been watching Jack Della Maddalena closely as his star continues to rise in the welterweight division. Recognizing Jack's skill and toughness, Max weighs in on the upcoming fight with Islam Makhachev, explaining why many are underestimating Jack and why this matchup promises to be both smart and exciting.
I think he'd be fine, man. I think he'd be good, you know, but people be sleeping on Jack, you know what I mean? And I think Jack is one of the best fighters in the world right now, and I think people is gonna find out when that match happens. I don't know. I'm hearing rumors maybe October. I think it's gonna be a fun fight, smart fight, but a lot of people counting out Jack for I don't know what reason. They just keep counting him out. Kind of reminds me of when I was like coming up and counting me out about certain fights. So I mean, he is, you know, he's the number 2 pound for pound in the world right now, but he's the number 2 pound for pound in the world for a reason, so you gotta respect that, but you know, don't sleep on Jack. I think it's gonna be a tough and fun fight.
Adding on, Jack Hermanson shares his thoughts on Islam Makhachev's move up in weight, weighing the challenge of stepping into a new division. He praises Islam's dominance at lightweight, but remains cautious about how well he can adapt against bigger opponents like Jack Della Maddalena.
Yeah, it's so hard because you never know when people are changing weight classes. But in lightweight, you know, Islam looks like unbeatable. It's just like maybe the pound for pound best. He just looks so insanely good. But can he do it in a weight class above? I'm not sure. Really hard to predict a fight like that. I think I still have to say Islam.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I think so. Yeah, we need to see a few more fights with Jack. He looked amazing against Bilal, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's something about Islam is just so.
Meanwhile, John Wood explains how Jack Hermanson has shown major improvement, especially after his fight against Bao. He says Jack now understands the champion's style better and could outstrike Islam on the feet. However, Islam's takedown defense remains a big challenge.
I feel like if Jack can keep building upon what he did in his, you know, in against Bilal, I mean, he's seen that style now from a champion, and it's, you know, very similar to what Islam's going to do. I think Islam does it a little bit better. So as long as Jack is improving and getting better and his confidence is there, it's very interesting. I feel like on the feet, you know, I think Jack's got him on the feet. It's just that obviously if that takedown defense can hold up, that's the thing with Islam. Obviously everybody is like, it's one of those things where you can't bet against Islam at this point in time until you see a chink in the armor. It's like betting.
John highlights Islam Makhachev's unique grappling and strong striking, making him a tough opponent. He admits there are some gaps in Islam's game, especially in how he enters for takedowns. If Jack can find and exploit these weaknesses, it could turn the fight in his favor.
Against Marab, you know, you can do it. It's not a smart bet, but until someone figures out that puzzle, I don't know. Islam is a different kind of cat on the ground, you know, and his striking is not bad. You know, he's going to come at you and get you to strike and eventually, you know, take a shot. There are some holes in his game and holes in the entries, and you know, obviously, you know, being Team Khabib, there are definitely some things that you can expose to get that win. And if Jack figures that out, I think it'd be the long night for Islam. But again, I wouldn't bet against Islam until I see somebody kind of break that code.
Islam Makhachev's upcoming battle against Jack Della Maddalena marks a pivotal moment in his career. Moving up to welterweight brings new challenges, bigger opponents, and higher stakes. With experts weighing in and training camp shrouded in secrecy, the tension only rises. Islam's grappling mastery and championship mindset are enough to overcome Jack's size, power, and relentless pressure. This fight could redefine the division and decide who truly rules the welterweight landscape. As both warriors sharpen their skills and prepare for war, fans worldwide are eager to witness a clash that promises intensity, strategy, and heart. The legacy of Khabib's protege hangs in the balance, but so does the rise of a fierce contender hungry to make history. Who do you think will come out on top, Islam's technical dominance or Jack's strength and grit? Drop your predictions and reasons below.